Hello, my name's Sarah Phipp and welcome to my webinar on cleansing your liver. Now, I would suggest in the time that we have together that you make the most of it. Close down your email, close down your Facebook, close down other distractions, and get the most out of this webinar. Now, I could not think of a more valuable topic right now than looking at cleansing the liver, and I'm going to delve into the details as to why. Now, I've called this because it has got 3 simple steps. There's 3 simple liver cleanse steps to permanently end sugar cravings, low energy, period pain, poor sleep, feeling exhausted and sluggish, and how that can give you the level of health and well-being you've always wanted. Now, the liver is absolutely the main focus of the health in our body, and this is why I decided to do the web class specifically on this, and specifically on some really simple things that you can put into action straight away. So today you are going to learn the state of your liver. So you're going to discover the symptoms that show you have an unhappy liver. And honestly, it's not just about how much alcohol you drink, which is really what everyone jokes about. Your liver's the organ with the greatest capacity to repair itself. So you're going to discover the powerful technique to help your liver heal and rebalance. Your liver is the powerhouse of your body. It's got over 500 different tasks to perform, which is incredible. So you're going to know exactly what to do to support your blood sugar level balance and see why this is really key to having a healthy liver and body. Your liver is key in establishing your immune system as well. So see why our energy levels, our quality of sleep, for women, our monthly cycle, our ability to use the nutrients from the food that we eat are all directly attributable to our liver's function. And you're going to leave here today at the end of the web class with a detailed Detox Your Liver blueprint, including a PDF instruction sheet and some recipes that your liver's going to absolutely love. So get ready to take notes. We're going to wrap up within 60 minutes. I'm going to share with you everything I can in the time we have today. And honestly, I could not think of a more valuable topic that I could share with you today when it comes to health. And I promise to show you how you can go deeper into this area of health before we finish up, should you so wish. You're going to love today's webinar. If you ever get frustrated that you always catch other people's coughs, colds and bugs, have wanted to know how to support your own body, learn how to read which system is struggling, whether that's your endocrine system, your immune system, your hormonal system, and have the knowledge to know what to do. No more relying on doctors and prescriptions. You're also going to love the webinar if you value being able to nurse your own or your family's health at home with centuries-old tried and tested naturopathic techniques. You know, we've come so far away from being in touch with caring techniques and healing techniques that used to be passed down through families. We're so ready now just to go to the doctor and pop a pill, whereas if we tap back into that intuitive state, we're really investing in the long-term health of not only ourselves but generations to come, because whatever we do in terms of our health, it literally does pass on into the next generation. So you're also going to love today's webinar if you have low energy, and it doesn't matter how much you sleep or how well you eat, it just doesn't seem to make a difference. So the changes you can expect from a cleansed liver. Why is it so important? How are you going to feel if you go through this process? So first and foremost, a disease-free life. Now, chronic disease is at an all-time high, So it's a really good idea to look at diet and lifestyle and what it is we can do to make a difference. A more flexible body and, of course, freedom from pain. Improved digestion, energy and vitality, both inner and outer beauty, great at reversing the aging process. The liver has a very large part to play in that. Better quality sleep, deep restorative sleep. Improved emotional health with less irritation, frustration and anger. In the Western world, we look at the liver very much as just an organ that performs roles, but actually when we combine it with looking at Eastern medicine, there are a lot of emotional signs that can be linked to a liver that's out of balance, and certainly those are three of them: irritation, frustration, anger. Control is another one. So we end up with a clearer mind, and when we have a much quieter mind, our creativity and productivity naturally goes up. I've recently been doing a lot of work on my liver, and only just noticed over the last few days, wow, I seem to have gotten so much done, both in my work and around the house. It really does make a massive difference. So, how did I discover the secrets to a healthy liver? I used to not be able to get out of bed because I was so low on energy, and I got ill all the time. I was so exhausted. I had chronic fatigue syndrome 10 years ago, and that presented itself as low energy every day. And I don't just mean tiredness, I mean full-on fatigue, and clock watching, wanting to return to my bed for the evening. And then having long periods of waking in the night, my batteries just never seemed to recharge, and I was constantly getting ill, avoiding anyone with so much as a sniffle. So I never really felt like I got past the surviving day-to-day stage. I certainly wasn't creative, and I certainly wasn't productive in my life. Life was pretty joyless altogether, and my relationships were really suffering. So through training in naturopathy, I discovered how powerful a role my liver played in my health and how toxic mine must really be. I learned how to care for my liver, and I've actually never felt as well as I do now. And I didn't even know it was possible to feel this healthy and vibrant. And of course, that's fed into the rest of my life, and running a very successful business now, managing the home and 2 children, and I'm more active now than I ever have been, and that's all down to the fact that my health is in such a great state. So this is where my passion came, in wanting to work with others with similar health problems. I could see there were really clear answers that seem to get hidden amongst all of the mixed messages that you get from doctors and the media, and what it is that we need to be healthy. So working with dozens of clients' health issues and focusing on the state of their liver got great results for them too. Better immune systems, eliminating period pain, greater energy, better digestion, better sleep. So a bit of background about me. I am a fully trained naturopathic nutritionist. I teach this understanding in other fields of holistic health. So to the degree students at the Centre for Homeopathic Education in London, which is the largest homeopathy school in the UK. I also teach this understanding on health retreats. And that's why I'm so excited to share this with you today, is you don't have to go through what I went through and find out the hard way. So, do you have a history of poor diet and overeating? And when I say a poor diet, I mean a highly acidic diet that might be very high in protein, particularly high in animal protein. Other acidic foods would include dairy, grains, basically anything that's not fruit and vegetables. Do you have a high damaged fat content in your diet? I every diet needs a small amount of saturated fat, and steering clear of processed vegetable oils, and buying processed ready meals that, frequently you see vegetable oil or rapeseed oil on the contents, which you really want to be avoiding. You also consume a lot of highly processed sugars, processed carbohydrates, the more simple ones than complex ones, and you eat a lot of non-food type foods, and in that I include all the chemical additives, whether that's colorings or flavorings or sweeteners. And do you consume a lot of alcohol or drugs, whether that's prescription or recreational, and do you smoke? So all of those things are going to have a really detrimental effect on the liver. And certainly when I reflect back on my lifestyle leading up to getting chronic fatigue syndrome, like all of us when we're younger, we think the body is unbreakable. And mine got to the point where it couldn't sustain that unhealthy lifestyle. And actually, that unhealthy lifestyle has become the norm these days. So we tend not to question it so much. But the body slows down over time and eventually doesn't function so well. So what's your energy like? Do you get fatigued a lot or tired out a lot? That's a real sign that the liver's struggling. Other signs: do you have bad digestion? Do you suffer from bloating or gas? Do you get nausea, IBS, constipation or diarrhea? If you've had your gallbladder removed, you're going to be especially prone to having problems with the liver, because without the gallbladder, the liver takes on a much greater burden of the role that the gallbladder and liver play together. And in fact, again, in Eastern medicine, the gallbladder and liver are seen as working together, and very important organs, especially going into springtime. They become the real focus of the body. Also, to look at skin or eye problems, really keenly linked to the liver again. Acne, eczema, psoriasis, hives, herpes, rosacea, anything that you can think of that kind of affects the skin, because what the liver does is when it becomes really toxic and reaches the limit on what it can cope with, it will start to find another route out of the body to release toxicity, and the skin is a greatly favoured route for that. Again, itching skin and eyes, any kind of itching is strongly linked to the liver as well. A lot of women suffer from that in pregnancy. Also excessive sweating, and that includes going through the menopause. Again, it's worth looking at what's going on with the liver. Also, another big sign that the liver's struggling is migraines and headaches. If you frequently get migraines and headaches, that can be a big sign that the liver's quite toxic. So other signs: blood sugar level problems. Now, I know we talk about blood sugar level when we talk about diabetes, but actually blood sugar levels are something we would all do well to focus on. So do you find it hard to go long periods without eating, or do you get moody or irritable if you don't eat regularly? People term it hangry, don't they? Hungry and angry. Now, for women, this might be especially before your period, and that period of time as well can come with a dip in blood sugar levels, which will bring on migraines and headaches. But really tap into how you feel after eating each meal. Do you find that you're not able to make it for a number of hours through to the next meal without feeling like you have to eat again or snack? And for women, do you suffer from period pains? Do you get lumpy or tender breasts? Endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome are also signs that the liver's really struggling, because it will start to dump toxicity in the reproductive organs if it's already having trouble coping with what the body's throwing at it. PMS is another one, as is thyroid problems and other hormone-related problems. And of course, actually feeling any kind of discomfort around the liver gallbladder area can all be signs. I'd also ask if you've had lots of heavy metal exposure. So places we pick that up, apart from the obvious air, water and soil. Vaccinations, how many vaccinations have you had? They've always got metals in them. Do you eat a lot of non-organic food? Again, all the herbicides and pesticides are quite heavily laden with heavy metals. Kitchen foil, do you use a lot of kitchen foil when you're preparing or cooking food? Do you eat a lot of canned food? What kind of cooking equipment are you using? And again, do you have lots of metal fillings, perhaps mercury, amalgam fillings? A lot of metal dental work in your mouth is all worth considering. Now, here's a really interesting one, and that's one that always flags up pretty quickly with me when my liver's out of balance. Do you have trouble sleeping, or do you in fact do shift work, which is going to put a lot of burden on the liver? So especially around the time of 1 to 3 a.m. Now, when we look at Eastern medicine, particularly traditional Chinese medicine, 1 to 3 a.m. is peak time for the liver. So we really need to be resting and having deep restorative sleep at that time. But if you find yourself waking between those hours, then chances are the liver needs some kind of support. So other key signs: do you have problems or weaknesses in your pecs or rhomboids? The pecs are obviously under the breastbone, and the rhomboids is the muscle between the shoulder blades and the spine. And these are on the liver meridian pathway, which would show up obviously why you have a weakness there. Do you find yourself prone to anger or shouting? Do you get irritable or cranky? And yes, I'm including PMS with the run up to your period there. Do you have a very fixed, inflexible point of view and find yourself holding on to toxic thoughts? Are you very particular about the ways of doing things, or maybe quite critical? So let's look at the 3 steps to mastering the health of your liver. Now, I just want to flag up first that liver disease is classed as the 5th largest cause of death in the UK, and also plays a major part in the top 3 other causes of death too. But the good news is that any damage your liver has sustained up until now is reversible, despite maybe what some doctors might tell you, when you know what to do. So the liver is the organ with the greatest capacity to heal and repair itself out of the whole body. So let's delve into step 1, and that is lifestyle. So, as I've already mentioned, both sleep and rest are extremely important, particularly from the hours of 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. These are gallbladder and liver peak times. So it starts with the gallbladder from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. and then goes into liver time from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And these organs regenerate at this time. So, it's really important to get a good night's sleep. And not just about sleeping, always have space and time within your day to rest and have time out, particularly at the end of the day and winding down before going to bed. But during the day, you want to be active, moving around regularly throughout the day. If you're sitting at a desk all day, make sure you're getting up every 20 minutes if you can, and stretching, even if it means just going to the toilet, going to the water cooler, or if you work at home, I try and get up and just do a tiny bit of tidying or housework every 20 to 40 minutes, just so that I'm not sitting all the time, because it's not good enough just to be doing an hour of exercise every day. We actually need to be moving throughout the day. Now, reducing body fat is key. Approximately 1 in 5 people now have fatty liver disease, and excess abdominal fat is a big sign of this. So really looking at eating a healthy diet, eliminating all of those acidic, toxic foods I outlined before, and that we're going to cover more in step 2. Sweating's really good for you and good for your liver. Really good way to detox, whether that's through exercise and or another favorite one of mine is infrared saunas. They're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So let's look at some real life examples. Now, Marina was a client of mine, but much of what I taught her is in this web class, obviously in a snapshot. And Marina said, during my life, my periods have been giving me a lot of pain and my energy levels were low. While working with Sarah, we focused a lot on detoxing the liver, as it seemed I had a lot of toxicity in the body. Wow, what a difference. I no longer get period pains. In fact, I don't even notice that I'm due on, as there are no symptoms. Also, I no longer get sick when my son gets sick, which is a godsend. And as a woman business owner, it really makes a difference. The liver is our life force, and without it working properly, neither do we. Thank you for showing me the way. So, you know, as Marina said, that made a massive difference to her. And really, she saw quite clearly that just focusing on that one organ paid dividends on her health that played out in all the different areas of her life, whether it was her monthly cycle, her ability to, because she was having lots of time off sick, which is, you know, as a business owner myself, it really is tricky when you're running your own business, when you're having to take time off sick. So let's look at step 2, and that is dietary choices. So really avoiding processed sugars, especially fructose. Fructose is probably the worst one for the liver because it goes straight to fat. Processed carbohydrates, chemical additives, and all processed foods put a really heavy burden on the liver. Again, common sense one here, but it's always worth mentioning, cutting back on your alcohol consumption, because alcohol, like fructose, turns straight to fat and is stored in the liver. Look at more high veg content. Think green foods. Liver absolutely loves green, and in traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is actually associated with the colour green and springtime. So think green juices, green smoothies. Now I'm going to send you a link at the end of this web class to get you started with some recipes that are perfect for your liver. Milk thistles, another great one for the liver. Also a diet high in antioxidants. That's all those lovely brightly coloured foods with vitamin C and E, and the B vitamins are all great liver boosters. Now, this is one that's often overlooked. Dehydration is a major cause of blood sugar imbalance, liver and gallstones. Good quality drinking water not only supports the liver in this way, but also assists with weight loss and removing toxins out of the body. And fasting on occasion is really helpful, as it gives the liver a rest and a chance to regenerate. So foods to add in that are going to be really helpful. Leafy greens, lemon. I have a warm glass of water with freshly squeezed lemon into it every morning as soon as I get up. Great for preventing and dealing with any kind of liver or gallstones. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale. They're all great for the liver, as is garlic and beetroot. Avocados, another great one. Turmeric, great anti-inflammatory, great for the liver. Green tea, grapefruit, apples, and of course the good fats like coconut oil. And steer clear of highly processed, either chemically treated or heated vegetable oils. It's probably a good idea just to avoid vegetable oils. But have them in their natural form, like avocados and nuts, but don't have them once they've been extracted from their natural food source. So foods to avoid that are really going to put a burden on your liver: fried foods, high sodium foods, processed ready meal foods, high carbohydrate content foods like pasta, bread and cereal, Mentioned before, processed sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. Believe it or not, agave goes into that mix as well. It's very high in fructose. I know it's become very trendy in the last few years with the raw food movement, but really not very good for the liver at all. A very high animal protein diet with lots of red meat is going to put a lot of burden on the liver as well, as will a high dairy diet with lots of milk, cheese and yogurt. Again, nicotine in cigarettes, prescription medications and recreational drugs, all of that's going to have quite a toxic effect on your liver and is really going to make it struggle. So let's look at more feedback, and let's look at Chris's story. Now, Chris says, I've had years of IBS and a diagnosis of a fatty liver. My overall health has improved beyond all recognition. I can now control my IBS as thanks to Sarah, the cause has been identified. Well, of course, his liver played a huge role in that. It is no overstatement to say that categorically Sarah has changed my life for the better. I've recommended her to many people and continue doing so. I actually think people cannot afford not to see Sarah. Well, I'd say rather than not afford to see Sarah is actually not afford not to do some work on their liver, particularly if this is an area where you struggle as well. So that was Christopher. Now, let's look at step 3. Now, I consider this to be an incredibly powerful liver detox technique. There are lots of naturopathic techniques that detox the body, but this one that I'm going to share with you, I consider to be the most important, and I call it castor oil packing. The rest of the techniques that I use all the time and absolutely love are covered in module 2 of my Ultimate Health and Wellness program. Now, this is the main detox and rebalancing technique that I use myself, and I've been using it for over 10 years, played a huge part in me recovering from chronic fatigue syndrome, and plays a huge part in maintaining and keeping great health. You know, it's my first go-to if ever I'm feeling under the weather, or I can feel myself coming down with any kind of cough or cold, or even tummy bug. Great for all of it, because the liver deals with any kind of illness that comes into the body. And I teach this literally to all of my clients. You will receive your liver detox blueprint with detailed instructions on this simple, low-cost yet powerful technique at the end of this web class. So let's look at Eileen's story. Now, Eileen said, I had been ill with an underactive thyroid and diverticulitis with a history of IBS for many years. I was given helpful information in every way, and Sarah talked me through every problem and explained in detail what was going on in my body. I cannot tell everyone how much I have improved in such a short space of time. My energy levels have improved and my enthusiasm for doing activities has returned. I've been doing all of Sarah's suggestions. It's been a life-changing experience. And in fact, Eileen's friends were asking her what it was that she was doing, because she looks so much younger. So let's have a quick recap. So now you have some details on how to detox your liver, and you'll be getting that blueprint at the end of the web class. You also know some basics on how to improve your immune system by tackling the liver, your lifestyle, and what foods you can cut down on and foods you can add. So adjusting your diet for good nourishment from what you eat and what's really going to support your liver, and creating that lifestyle that your liver is going to thrive on. So I'd love to know if you found this information valuable and useful. And would you like to know how to go from this information to completely transforming your body and health? Now, before I show you the Ultimate Health and Wellness program, I just want to ask a couple of questions. The first one is, how important is your health to you? How much time, effort, and energy would it save you each day if you just knew how to give your body exactly what it needs? Do you crash at weekends or get sick every time you take a holiday? How much does it actually cost you to be sick, off work, private healthcare, hours waiting around at hospitals and with your GP. Plus, if you're self-employed, that's loss of potential earnings. What would it be worth to you to naturally and effortlessly to get your body thriving again? What would it really mean to you if you could finally once and for all get your physical health completely handled? And are you ready to make this change now? Now pay careful attention. I'm about to show you the 5-step ultimate health and wellness program, and then I'm going to give you your liver detox blueprint and the recipes. So here is the ultimate health and wellness program details. Now, I created this program because so many of my one-to-one clients have asked me to package this insightful and powerful information all in one reference place. Years ago, as I said to you, I had chronic illness with low energy, and it made life a real struggle. And I know other people do too. I actually didn't know it was possible to feel this level of wellness, and I want to share it. I want people to take back control of their own health and not rely on a failing health system, and learn to understand their own bodies. So if you've ever struggled with low energy and poor health, then you know what it's like to live each day like you're on a hamster wheel, just surviving. To feel embarrassed or ashamed because you're not able to participate in life in the way you want. Worry when is the next time that you're going to get ill or run down, or wonder if you'll ever be able to achieve what you want with your life. I designed this program to change all of this for you, as it did for me, starting right now. So I just want to give some feedback first from other course participants. So Manuel said, I'm trying to catch up with the course and have to say the first 2 sessions were really amazing. So much valuable information. And Tricia said, loving all this information and wanting to follow it all. And Emily said, thanks to this program, I've decided to look at my food sources I didn't know I had access to. I can see that there are so many changes that I want to make now to my diet and lifestyle. And Paula said, thank you for providing such valuable and on-point content. I'm getting drip-fed information that is both relevant and manageable. With this program, I engage, can ask questions. I'm inspired to go back and incorporate another step. I've been empowered by the program. Thanks, Sarah. So what's covered in the program? There are 5 modules, 1 delivered each week, and the first module is on fluids and the power of superhydration. Now, I've already mentioned it in the liver web class, but again, covered in a lot more detail why good hydration is the foundation of your health and how to ensure good hydration. It's not just about drinking water. Why stress equals dehydration in the body, and why dehydration then in turn equals more stress. So looking at how you can switch off that cycle of dehydration alert in the body. Module 2 is on detoxing. You know, I've touched on it again in the liver web class here, that it's really important in the environment that we live in now to detox. So covers an easy detox plan and why anyone would ever want to. We do live in a very toxic world, and why your emotions affect toxicity levels in your body just as much as pollution. Why detoxing is a major part of all chronic illness prevention and treatment. Module 3, we cover dietary choices and the effortless everyday diet. So cutting through all the mixed messages that we get all the time in the media that chops and changes what it is that we think we need to be eating. A criteria for always making the best food choices. And the naturally healthy food plan without fads or labels. In Module 4, we cover healthy cells and how looking at the cell and its vibrancy in turn equals a vibrant, healthy body. We look at why cholesterol is really there and it's not the bad boy it's been made out to be. Why we mimic the behavior of that cell and the state of the cell, and how you can clearly see in both yourself and other people what's going on at cellular level. Why cellular cleansing is at the root of your immune system. And then in Module 5, we cover vitamins and minerals. That's real nutrition, how to know if you're deficient. So how to give your body everything it needs to thrive optimally and make that your default. Why this results in illnesses working in the way they're supposed to, just like a spring clean, and not hanging around and becoming chronic. Why we do need to supplement sometimes, even with the best diet. So the program format, what does it look like? So how is the program delivered? So it's 5 hour-long web classes, one delivered each week. Now, of course, as some of the previous participants said, you can do it as the classes are released, or you can do it at your own pace. For some people, they have busy lifestyles and they want to do it at a much slower pace, whereas some people like to keep on track and communicate as everybody's doing it at the same time, but that choice is up to you. There's a Facebook group to connect, share, chat and ask questions, and I flag up with a hashtag for each module, so you can go back and look at posts from previous modules, and it makes it really easy to search and find relevant information depending on where you are in your learning and what speed you're learning at. So what are the advantages of delivering in this way? Well, to start with, it's in the comfort of your own home, no having to travel, total immersion. You can completely immerse yourself in the learning, and you can set the pace of learning that suits you. And here's a really key one: you're going to get lifetime access to all the information. Now, I've compiled as much as I can into this program over my last 12 years of learning, and I refer back to everything I've learned and the naturopathic techniques again and again, and they've been my toolbox for keeping both myself and my family really well. And you're always going to have access to that once you've signed up to the program. So what's the program worth? I have been passionate about learning about the body's physiology from a cellular level, originally to release my own pain and suffering. I've spent the last 15 years studying health and wellness, totally obsessed with finding answers. And I've attended dozens of trainings and spent tens of thousands of pounds on this. I've paid for doctors, therapy, coaching, you name it, all amounting to over £60,000 to figure this out. Now, you could certainly learn about naturopathic medicine for yourself for a few £1,000s, and you could continue to use doctors and alternative health practitioners whenever you feel unwell. But there's something really powerful about learning this for yourself and taking control of it for yourself. So what's the investment? Now, the course is normally £597 or 6 payments of £147 to split the cost if you can't pay it in one go. But right now, today, it's only £297 or 4 monthly payments of £97. If you want to sign up, you go to my website, which is www.sarahfip.com/wellness. Now, on top of that, I offer a 5-week Feel Amazing guarantee. So if you follow the steps in the program and don't feel completely amazing by the end of implementing everything you've learned, then I offer a complete money-back guarantee. But also on top of that, I'm throwing in all of these bonuses. So the first one, you will get a free one-to-one session with me, valued at I normally charge £299 for that. Now you can take that at whatever point you want, but I normally recommend taking it at the end of completing the web classes to get maximum value out of it. You also get a real life peek inside my kitchen to show some equipment and food choices that have really made a massive difference to my health in the last 10 years. You'll also receive recipes that are going to hydrate and nourish you to get started. You'll also get a recording of my Abundant Energy All Day Long audio. You'll also get a recording called Discover Your Inherited Toxic Load. Now that delves into what I touched on earlier, that we all inherit a certain amount of toxic load, and it's very difficult to guess what that is. So that really delves into looking at signs and symptoms of seeing traits that have been passed down through generations, through families, and really help you to see that for yourself. You'll also get a copy of my Explore the Extraordinary audio with Hay House author Anita Morjani. You'll also get your how-to guide on creating your healthy shopping list to get you started from everything you've learned. So it's a really great way to detox your cupboards and your fridge and to fill them full of things that are really going to set the foundation for you moving forward onto a healthier you. And last but not least, now this is something I've become extremely passionate about in the last 3 to 4 years, and that is the psychology of health and wellness. And that is a 3-part web class, normally valued at just under £900. Now, you can eat the best diet in the world, and you can exercise every day, but if you're still not having a great experience of life, or not understanding what's creating your experience, and still suffering a lot of stress and anxiety, that's going to do just as much damage to your health as any poor diet. So it's to me, actually, it's the most important part of the whole program. But the reason it comes last is because actually setting the foundation of all the other bits first and looking at the dietary factors really creates a lovely stepping stone onto what I consider to be the most important part. So the total cost of all of those bonuses normally retail at $1,794, but you're going to be getting all of those for free with this program today. So a quick recap. So here's exactly what you're getting. So the Ultimate Health and Wellness Program, normally worth $599. That breakthrough session worth $299. The video tutorial of the kitchen worth £50. The recipes to get you started worth £99. Abundant Energy audio worth £50. Looking at your inherited toxic load, £199. The audio with Anita worth £99. Your creation of your shopping list and reordering your fridge and or your kitchen cupboards worth £99. And that really important part, the psychology of health and wellness, that 3-part series worth £899. So the total value of that package is £2,393, but yours today only for the vastly reduced price of £297, backed by my 5-week Feel Amazing guarantee. Or if you can't do that cost in one outlay, then there's the option of paying it in 4 parts of £97. So now I would like to play for you Zora talking to me about the impact the program has had on her health and her thinking around food. So this was after she'd completed the 5-week web classes, and she'd had her one-to-one session with me, and very importantly, listening to the 3-part web class on the psychology. So this is what you can expect to get out of the program if you make the most of all of the web classes and all of the bonuses available. And Zora's going to be talking for about 10 minutes, but it's well worth the listen. So welcome, and today I'm speaking to Zora, and Zora has been on one of my online programs, and I want to speak to Zora today just to see what impact it's had on her, and just to get a bit of feedback on what brought her to the program, what changes she's noticed since finishing the program, and really just to get your thoughts, Zora.
Okay.
So hi.
Hi, Sarah. So what brought me to the program was I met you at an event, and I think you introduced yourself as a sort of like a nutrition coach that also deals with the kind of thoughts and the mind behaviors, and I found that really fascinating because I myself I've dieted as a child because I was quite overweight, and I've always had kind of thoughts around food. So when I met you, it was just something really interesting to me. So that's how we kind of met. In terms of the actual course itself, I think I messaged you, but I found myself changing a lot of the things I do around food, both what I eat and my thoughts around food as well. So in terms of diet, I think the biggest differences I noticed was I've become a lot more aware about I suppose the toxins in food. So for example, I used to eat a lot of fish before, which I've pretty much reduced a lot, or I try and source freshwater fish. So things like that have been immediate kind of dietary changes. Have lemon water every morning. I've worked out what supplements I need. And actually I used to have really, really dry hair that fell out a lot, very dry skin. And I learned that I most likely have a thyroid deficiency, which I worked out what to use. And since then, my hair's been really glossy, and my skin, my skin used to crack and bleed. I haven't told you this. My skin used to crack and bleed. I've been to doctors a few times, and this winter I have the softest skin. I'm just in shock. Like, it's amazing. So it's just I can't believe just little things that I didn't know about my body. Small changes I've made have made such a big difference. For me, hair and skin is the biggest that I can see visually in myself. I find I think with diet I'm still on a journey with that in terms of finding out what to eat now, because I used to eat so much fish and that was a big part of my diet before. I'm struggling a little bit to find out what to eat instead now, because I find I've tried beans and lentils more, but I find that a little bit bloating, so I'm trying to work out the best sort of diet for me still. But definitely supplements and stopping things that I've realized now are actually very toxic to my body has been very, very useful, and very impactful in for me. I also found, because your first lesson was on water, and I never realized, because I've always thought that if I have tea and coffee, if it's decaf, it's fine, it counts as my liquid. And I know you mentioned to us that the amount of energy your body needs to actually like process, like your liver processing that drink, actually uses up the liquid you would have been drinking, which I had no idea about. So I never realized it was just pure water. And even changing that, it's been amazing, because my hunger reduced a lot when I actually drank pure water as opposed to having decaf teas and things like that throughout the day. So that was another big change for me. Another thing, actually for me, the biggest impact has been from our last breakthrough session, where I was discussing with you about, for me, my kind of the fact that I felt I loved food too much and I really enjoy it. And I've always actually felt guilty about enjoying food. And I never realized that my whole life I've actually lived almost feeling like I'm greedy because I enjoy food. And when I talk to you and realize that actually it's quite a blessing to enjoy food, there's nothing wrong with actually looking forward to your meals and nourishing your body. It's been such a shift. Like, even if I eat something that perhaps is like indulgent, like cake or whatever, I enjoy it. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel the need to eat the whole cake. I'm happy with that one piece because I'm letting my body enjoy the food. And it's just been amazing. So I don't it's reduced that anxiety for me significantly. Of course, it's still a journey and I'll have my off days, but more often than not, I'm able to really enjoy my meals, be really present with them, which before I didn't realize how much of a rigmarole in my head I had about guilty thoughts towards enjoying food. So that was just huge. That's been for me the biggest impact, because no matter what diet you have, it can be the best diet in the world. If you're not enjoying your food and allowing yourself to be present, you're not really nourishing your body anyway. And I've really come to understand that idea now. So it's not so much the foods we eat as much as I think our thoughts and our presence around the food we eat and the love we put into creating that food and nourishing our body. So that's been for me the biggest kind of thing I've gained, and I can't thank you enough, because it's a lifelong thing. You have to eat every single day. So it's a course I recommend to anybody, because it's just, if you can improve your relationship with food in one small way, it can have such a massive impact on your life. And I've definitely seen a huge change.
That's fabulous. All right. And some of that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's so lovely to hear that feedback. And for me, the reason that, and of course I've talked about it on the course, is that I didn't want to create a program that told people what to eat. It was very much about informing people kind of broad spectrum things about food, and for people to get in touch with what they felt their body needed. But there are some generalities, like the one you mentioned. We all need good quality drinking water. Like, the body just doesn't function well if it's not hydrated. But what I love about what you shared, and one of the big parts of the course, is that you were spot on when you said it's not so much about the food, but it's about our thinking around food. And it's things I see time and time again with clients, that so many people are so caught up with thinking that their food is able to create a feeling, when that's not really possible. And a lot of the time we don't even realize that it's happened. We've built up scripts or ideas around food as we grow up. You know, we all know a lot of people comfort eat, or they eat for emotion, or and when we quieten down those messages and get really quiet, then we're naturally attracted to food that gives us nourishment, and we're able to make good decisions on our own. So I love that you shared that, and I hope that is how you've seen the course and how it's come to you as well, that it's given you kind of a foundation of information around food choices, because there's so much advertising, isn't there, and there's so much in the media about what we should and shouldn't eat. But it's good just to give some basic nutritional advice into, for example, I mean, you know, not drinking bottles and bottles of fizzy drink every day, understanding that perhaps the government's food pyramid is not based on good nutritional research. It's very much based on funding from different parts of the food industry. So it's really good to provide that information to people, but then to give people the ability to see that when they have a very quiet mind around food, then they're much better able to make really good decisions about food for themselves. So I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, Zora.
No, I think that's the main point for me, is the course is really to help us find within our own selves, like, what we need to kind of correct around our relationship with food. It's not like here's a recipe and that's what you're gonna eat for the next month. It's nothing like that. But I think it's much deeper than that, because we really have to work it out for ourselves, for sure. Yeah. And I think it gives us the tools to do that, which is brilliant.
Yeah. And at some point, I'm pleased to inform you that I will be launching a program with recipes.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's kind of the next step for people who are a bit stuck on when they start to make adjustments to their diet. And I know it was the same for me 10 years ago, that was the bit I struggled with, was kind of like, okay, so now I know roughly what I do and don't want to eat, but how do I actually put that into practice and create meals? All right, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Zora. Thank you. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they can reach me at Sarah at SarahFip, and Sarah spelt with an H, and Fip is spelt PHIPP.com. All right, thanks, Zora. Bye for now.
Bye.
So if what Zora shared resonated with you, and this program sounds like it's the one for you, then you can sign up at www.sarahfip.com/wellness. Now, space is limited and demand will be high at today's super low price. So if you are interested, don't wait. Now, here's your Detox Your Liver blueprint details. For the castor oil packing technique and the recipes to get you started on your 3-step simple liver cleanse, you can go to www.sarahfip.com/liver, and you can download those details there. And I just want to say a big thank you for taking time out of your busy day to listen in. I hope you found the information in the web class valuable and to your increasing good health. If you need to contact me, you can find me or email me at sarah@sarahfip.com. Thank you very much. Goodbye.